Well, good morning. Today is the 16th of September 2009, and spring has not yet sprung in the Cape, as you can see from the weather around me. It's still a little bit chilly here in Cape Town, and we've got a little bit of rain, but the signs of spring are here. You know, this last week and a bit has been quite a difficult time for many friends of mine and for myself after the death of a colleague of ours, the Reverend Barry Marshall, who died very unexpectedly at the age of 37 in a paddling accident out at sea near Port Elizabeth. You can find out a bit more about Barry's death if you search for Barry Marshall on my website www.spirituality.org.za/blogger.html. But it has left me rather pensive after attending Barry's funeral service and seeing his wife and their two small children there. And I've spent a great deal of time praying and thinking about death and dying. And one of the passages from Scripture that's been a great encouragement and comfort to me, and I've shared it with a few others, is that passage from Lamentations chapter 3. If you read from verses 21 to 26, but particularly Lamentations 3 verses 22 to 24. And there are a few phrases that really stick out for me in that. The one phrase is that it says that God's mercies are new every morning, and His faithfulness is great because of His compassion. And that notion of compassion has struck me. Compassion is such a wonderful and unique emotion. It's very different from the notion of pity. And in fact, some of the older translations of the Bible, the King James Version and the Authorized Version, use the much older word pity. Of course, pity in contemporary and modern English usage has a very, very different meaning. Let me illustrate it in this way. When I was a young boy, at the end of the summer holidays, my mother would give me a few rand, that's the South African currency, to go and get a haircut. And I remember one particular summer holiday, my brother said to me, don't take the money and get a haircut, rather let's go down to the local shop and buy some sweets and I'll cut your hair for you. Well, he gave me a haircut that I'll never forget. My head was hacked to pieces, and so as punishment my mother sent me to school with that home-styled haircut, all hacked and shaved and messed up. And my friends, in their wonderful way as 9 and 10, 8-year-olds, looked at me and said, Dion, we feel very sorry for you, but boy, we're glad we don't have your haircut. You see, that's what pity does. Pity is an emotion that separates us from others. We look at them, we see their suffering, and we say, boy, I'm glad that I'm not you. But compassion is an entirely different emotion. Compassion is an emotion that stems from empathy. Because I know what you are suffering, I'm drawn close to you. Because I've experienced the pain that you're going through, I long to be with you and to help you and comfort you. And that's why I find it so wonderful that passage in Lamentations says that God is compassionate. There's a sense in which the reality is that because God is such a loving Father, whenever God's children suffer, just like when my children suffer, God draws near to us, and in God's compassion, God longs to bring us comfort and help and carry us through those times with joy. Megan and I have a very particular situation in our own lives that some of you may know about. Our youngest son, Liam, was born very early. He was premature by 3 months, born at 27 weeks. And he struggled with his health since birth. He's 3 years old on the 16th of November, but he's frequently very ill. And this last week he was very ill. He struggles particularly with his lungs, and he has one or two other little struggles that we have to deal with occupational therapy and other forms of therapies. His frailty reminds us constantly just how precious he is, the fact that he's alive and that he deserves to be loved, and just how much we love him. And God's compassion becomes so real to us when we are faced with these hardships. So my encouragement to you today is to recognize that God is a God not who takes pity on his creation, but a God of compassion who draws close to you in times of struggle and hardship. And my second encouragement is to recognize that sometimes the brokenness and frailty of our own lives and those around us can be a source of reminding us to not take them for granted, to appreciate them, to make the most of them, and to find great blessing and joy in spite of hardship. Well, you've been listening to Dr. Dion Forster, and it's always wonderful to have you tuning into these videos. I'd love to hear your feedback. You're welcome to drop me a line. If you go to my website, www.spirituality.org.za, you'll find my contact information there, my email address, or you can go to my blog, you'll find that link, or follow me on Twitter, and I'd love to be in contact with you. Well, have a blessed day today, and remember that work can be worship. God bless you. Goodbye.